Last time we talked about movement principle, and we did talk previously about relaxation, and today we'll be focusing more on the centralization. If you remember, we talked about how our vision is split into two parts. Peripheral vision, which is what you see as a movement and you pick up on the wider angle, and the central vision, which is what you see and you focus on to see clearly. You see color and you see details. Two types of cells, cones and rods. So the cones are responsible for picking up those sharp details and colors, and they're only available inside a very particular area inside the eye, which is closer to the optic nerve. It's called fovea centralis, for those who are interested in the scientific names. So what that means is only one part of your vision is able to pick up very high quality detail and color. And the second type of cells inside our eyes, which outnumber the cones, they're called rods, and they're very good at picking up movement. So what that means is they help you to see the wider angles, and they help you at night vision. So a lot of people, when they go to bed and they turn off their lights, they notice that slowly the vision will adjust to the night mode, which is being able to see a little better without light, and this part is what the rods are responsible for. So what does that have anything to do with natural vision correction? When you understand the anatomy of the eye, you need to understand that only one part of your vision, which is the central vision, is responsible for the details. So what that means, if you're looking at me right now, only part of me is clear and the other parts are less clear. For example, if you're looking at my right eye, my left eye should look less clear to you. And same happens when you pay your attention to my nose or ear and so on, or even the leathers on my shirt. Same applies to looking at distance. So if you ignore me for a second and look at the distance, if you are able to pick up details, I should look less clear to you. You can still pick up the movement, you can see that I'm moving my hand, but you should not be able to see it as clear as the river in the background. Same applies to the trees. So when you go outside and experiment with this, you should train your vision to only look at one part. Here's a good way to practice it. If you're looking at these letters, let's say the K, letter K, one part of the letter K should be clearer than the other part of letter K when you look at the letter. Don't look at the whole thing all at once. Don't try to read everything all at once. Try to only see one part clear, and the more and the better you get at this, the clearer your vision becomes, the more relaxed your vision becomes. Again, vision is effortless. You should not be straining the eyes to see. What happens when we wear glasses or contact lenses is they tend to make you see everything clear at the same time, and this is not a very good healthy habit. You need to see only one part clear and the rest less clear. If you remember, last time we did the movement and the swaying and the swinging, and we did tell you that if you look at a near object, the distant object should look less clear, and if you look at a distance, the near object should look clearer. And this only happens when you apply this centralization concept. So Dr. Bates talked about this centralization as a concept. What it means is, while you're doing all the rest of the exercises, while you are going through this journey of correcting your vision, you should be able to pay attention to centralizing versus peripheral movement. So Dr. Bates talked in his book about something called shifting. Shifting means is when you're looking at one thing, don't stare. Try to move your vision, your central vision, from the point of interest to another point of interest. And while you're doing that, of course, you need to move your head and eyes a little. So let's say, let's take this an example. Take this letter K. So if you're looking at the lower side of it, just don't stare at the letter K all at once. Try to pay attention to the lower edge, the upper edge, left and right, and so on. And the more flexible you become at moving your central vision, the more shifting you do, the clearer the vision. People who experience clear flashes, this is exactly what happens with them. They start to see things moving. When you look at one side of an object, you feel that the other side is moving to the other direction. Remember, like when we did the swaying or swinging and we noticed the oppositional movement, this was exaggerated two-dimensional movement. But if you look at the letter, if you're looking at the lower side of the letter and you move to the other side, so let's take a very simple and practical example of this shifting. If you look at the letter O here on my shirt, if you look at one point on the right side and you shift your interest or the point
of the central vision to the left side, it should feel to you as if the letter moved to the other direction. So if you're going with your vision to the right, it seems like the letter is bouncing to the left. If you're looking at the lower edge of the O, you'll feel that the letter O is going up. If you're going to the upper side of the letter O, it feels like letter O went down. This dynamic movement is what creates relaxation in your vision. People with perfect vision don't pay attention to this since it happens naturally with them. So what I want you to do is to take it as a practice. When you look at something, when you look at letters, familiar letters at a distance or at close-up, try to shift your point of interest to the edges. Just don't look at everything at once and don't expect everything to be clear. So we look at the upper corner, lower corner, central, and move it. And once you reach a point where you feel that the letter is shifting, going in the opposite direction, that's where you will be able to see those clear flashes. And of course, pay attention to your breathing, and blinking should be happening naturally. We don't want to force vision. Vision should be effortless. Thanks again for sharing this video. In the next episode, I'll be putting everything together and show you my daily routine.